LifePixers. Hope you're having an awesome day. Are you ready to rewire your brain for working with your brain? Yes, I know that doesn't make so much sense. I was breaking my brain to try to figure out how to write this in a way they'll actually understand, because I wanted to still let you know that it was like a rewire your brain episode. I was thinking if maybe I should just call the episode working with your brain. Then I was like, are you going to wonder, is this a Rewire Your Brain episode? So it is a Rewire Your Brain episode, which, by the way, if you're new here, Rewire Your Brain episodes is where I pick out one thing from the previous episode with the guest and explain why you might be struggling with this and how you can actually make it easier and rewire your brain for that thing, for that tip that the previous guest had said. Okay. So today we are working on rewiring your brain. For working with your brain. Like I said, this doesn't really make so much sense. But before we begin, if you like this episode, if there's any point of this episode that you're like, hey, I actually really like that, and I think that's quite smart, and you think that somebody else could benefit from it, then while you're listening, you don't even have to press pause, press the share button and share it with the person that you think will benefit from it. Maybe one person, maybe two people, maybe even three, because I want to help you. I want to help more people. And maybe at the same time, you will be able to help us reach our goal of 1 million downloads by the end of 2025. So if you're ready to do this, let's go. First, where did I get this from? In the previous episode, Murphy, after his accident, constantly had short-term memory loss and would constantly forget different things. So what they had to do is Jacqueline and Murphy, they would have to create a system in their house to work together with Murphy's brain instead of against it. Because just getting frustrated and just getting upset at Murphy for not remembering something that it is almost impossible for him to do is quite not a nice thing, not for Murphy, not for Jacqueline, and not for anyone else involved. So instead they created a system where they have a whiteboard and they write everything down, and Murphy knows to look at that whiteboard every single day. Now, this is something that you want to do in your own life, okay? I'm going to give you a couple of examples, but every single person is different, and you have to find a challenge for your brain and try to come up with some creative solution to solve the problem specifically for you. Okay. So let me give you some examples, some stuff from my everyday life, from things that I do in my house. And I think that maybe we'll get your brain turning. Maybe I'll be like, hey, I actually also need to implement that. Or maybe I'll be like, hey, that reminds me of something else that I need to do in my own life. Okay. So I actually also have a very hard time with memory. I am constantly working on it. I do exercises to make my memory better, and it's actually been helping me a lot, but I still have stuff that I have to make sure just I don't forget. Okay. So what I have every single day a paper on my desk where I jot things down. As soon as someone reminds me of something, I write it down. As soon as someone asks me to do something, I write it down. I know if it's not on that paper, it's not going to happen. So right away, I tell people to, like, I'm writing it down right away. And then I know that I have to check that paper every single day, multiple times throughout the day. I am checking the paper so I don't forget anything that I have to do. That is the system that I am working together with my brain. For me, that works. For you, it might be better to do a whiteboard. For you, it might be better to keep an app on the phone. But I find it easier to keep a paper because I don't always carry my phone. I mean, I take my phone everywhere, but like I'm trying, let's say I'm recording with you now, or I have afterwards client sessions, I'm not like really looking at my phone, right? But that paper I could have near me. It's a lot easier, a lot works for my brain. That's the point here. You want to find something that works for your brain. Another thing is we have in my house, like I've mentioned in the past, I think we had quite a few of my siblings who would just like dump their shoes right in the front of the hallway, and it would make the whole place a mess. So my mom finally decided to get like this shoe rack thing to keep near the front door. So now instead of just dumping it on the floor, they're dumping it in the shoe rack. So it's still not ideal. I personally would like nothing here, but instead of yelling and trying to get mad, instead you create a system where it's working with the brain. The shoe is anyways getting dumped there, so you might as well do it in a way that looks clean and organized. Or let's say another thing that we do is we have a list on the fridge, just a plain piece of paper, and anytime you remember you need something from the grocery store, it goes straight on that paper, and then whoever's placing the grocery order takes that paper and just orders everything that's on that paper. For you, that might be an app. There's a whole bunch of them, grocery apps. Whenever you remember something, you put it on your shopping list, and then when you go shopping, you know exactly what you need to get. Now, remember, you need to do what works for your brain. By us, fridge works really well because it's in the kitchen, and it's usually when you remember, you open the fridge, hey, there is no more yogurt. Let's say, okay, put on the list yogurt or whatever else there is. Another thing that we do in my house that works together with the brain instead of against the brain is we have like these laundry baskets. When we empty the baskets, then when we empty the dryer, it goes right away into the baskets. Everyone has their own basket. And then to fold your own laundry, and if you're to find something, it's not in your drawer, it's clean, it's going to be in the basket instead of having to constantly have laundry that needs to be folded and it's on someone's bed on the couch somewhere else and everyone knows where it is. Yeah. Instead, it's in your basket, you know exactly where it is, and it works really well because you're in the laundry room. You just, instead of taking it all out of a pile, you put one person's things in their baskets and it's only organized. So your challenge for today is to think of something that you're currently struggling with and think, what system can you put in place so that way you're working together with your brain instead of against your brain. If you're struggling with this and you need to come up with an idea, you can DM me at LifePix University and Instagram, and I'd love to come just help you find a solution, come up with something so that way you could be working together with your brain instead of against it. Okay. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
That's all for this episode of the LifePix University podcast, but I have a huge favor to ask of you that will not only support the show, but will also help the people you love most. We are striving for 1 million downloads by the end of 2025, and we can't do this without your help. If you love this episode, please share it with 2 of your family and friends so they too can rewire their brains to have an extraordinary marriage. It was awesome spending time with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.